Well, here to talk to us all about all things Michigan, field director for the Log House Republicans, Stephen Schumacher.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Maria. And I'll just give a little correction here on some pronunciations.
Thank you.
It's Amer Ghalib, and he's the mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan. And there's Hamtramck, and you're right. And actually, they're one of the few states or cities in the United States where they have the prayer call during Ramadan to celebrate in that way. But and I'm the Michigan field director for Log Cabin Republicans, and but close, very close. And there's a lot going on the ground in Michigan, a lot of coalitions-based stuff, and it's not just the Arab Muslim community; it's a wide range of communities. And I think we all know, a lot of your audience knows about Lorenzo Sewell, and I've been pronouncing that one wrong, but he's been having a Friday night Souls to the Polls, where he's been working on getting the coalition quite successfully of the black voters in the Detroit area and beyond to come out. And it's also the Indian American community. In fact, we have last night I was at an event with almost the entire Republican ticket. However, it also included a man named Anil Kumar, who's currently a Democrat board of governors at one of our university boards. And he's kind of raised the alarm and said, you know what, you got to look at what's happening in the culture. And a lot of these communities that we're targeting are big on traditional values, right? They're not part of the ultra woke agenda. They're not buying into the ultra woke agenda. And they have kids in these schools and they see what's happening, and they're not on board. And the Republican message is very strong on that regard. And we are making significant inroads into all of these, communities that typically don't engage as much in politics, but we're seeing a lot of engagement on the ground.
Thank you very much for that, Stephen. You're actually offering a lot of hope. Is Michigan really in play for the Republican ticket?
Oh, it's more than in play. It's actually almost ours to lose at this point from what I'm seeing on the ground. And polls, here and there, you can I take them with a grain of salt because they've just been so terrible. But as like a campaign professional on the ground, I'm seeing the response that we're getting in, every community. We were at a parade in Franklin, Michigan with a large Jewish population, and that's been more successful than we could have imagined. The African Americans too, that's actually one of our strongest ones. You don't know how often I'm in Detroit and they want to buy or have the MAGA hat right off my head. And I've gone through a bunch, right? But, and I have plenty, but yeah, it's really successful, actually.
I find Detroit really sad, with our auto industry, and to go through the city of Detroit and see so many abandoned buildings. I am very much wanting manufacturing back in the United States, and I'm sure the people of Michigan. Can we jump back to that town, Hamtramck? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Hamtramck.
So the mayor is of from Yemen descent, and it was once very much a Polish immigrant type town, and now it's people from Yemen, from Bangladesh. He is the first mayor of Arab descent, and he did something that I was actually very proud of earlier on. He banned any political flags or any LGBTQ flags on government property. And I thought that's the right thing to do. Government properties should be devoid of any kind of politics, any kind of religion, any kind of anything, right? And I thought that was bold for him to do that. But he did get in media for that stance. People wanted to call him homophobic, and that's, to me, not what it was about at all. It's about keeping those government spaces strictly government spaces. But he says he has a lot in common with President Trump. And he did talk about values, something that you brought up. It's keeping those family values. And you are seeing that theme amongst many different ethnic backgrounds. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely correct. And especially that's why we're being so successful, because these communities are not beholden to the rainbow mafia, as we call it, and they don't identify with these ultra woke progressive ideals that are being really forced on a lot of our nation at this point. And it's really evident in the schools and in the high schools, middle schools, and younger, but also in our universities. They're not buying into the ultra woke agenda, and they're seeing it. They have children who are going to these schools, and especially during COVID, when they were able to see the curriculum right up and close, when they were doing it, via Skype, they saw what was happening, and they're rejecting it wholeheartedly. So that is one of the big ways that we can get into these communities, and everyone agrees. You know what? Most people agree, no matter where you're at, that there shouldn't be like this ultra woke indoctrination, transgender surgeries on very, very young people, changing the different roles of society, different things like that are really the inroad to get to these people. And it's candidates across the board. So we vote for our university board governors and our school board and different things like that. And that is the message on the ground, especially in our really, diverse communities, which I've been making my way through happily. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so enriched making my way into these communities. They treat me so well. The Chaldeans, the Indians, the Muslims. I'm getting like state visits basically on the campaign trail here with these people, and it's been remarkable. But yeah, no one's buying into the ultra woke stuff, and it's being forced on us. And at the universities, it's indoctrination, and they've had enough. And especially with things like affirmative action, a lot of these communities are left behind because the way that the admissions process works, it punished people from certain communities who were doing really well. So like in the Indian American community, for example, they're really waking up to that and saying, we don't need the DEI nonsense. Kamala is a DEI president, and people are waking up to it.
I hope everybody gets out and votes. The Chaldean community, you've introduced me to the Chaldean community, hardworking people. They want their children to be hardworking, old-fashioned family values. They're Christians, and they're from the Middle East. Is it northern Iraq that they're from?
Oh gosh, I wish Sal was still here. I'm actually at a Chaldean-owned business right now doing this interview with you. I'm not exactly sure the part of Iraq, but yeah, certainly within this community. So I'm in Oakland County right now, and probably every third business basically you go to would be a Chaldean business, and they work hard. And it's really, but that's what built the United States of America, is entrepreneurship and these small businesses. And they epitomize it. They are the epitome of the American dream. And they say it too. We have a lot of these coalition events, and they've been so supportive of President Trump. They are the embodiment of the American dream, and they're afraid that they're losing that for their children. And it's on the economic side, but also on the social side. They are not, they're not buying into the left's ultra woke agenda that wants to tax you and regulate your business more. These people just want to, provide valuable services for the community, and every turn, the government's trying to stifle that. They're trying to make it harder for businesses to do what they do. And at this time, we need it. We need it. And with inflation out of control, and that's the other thing too. It's just the macro policies brought on by Democrats that make everyone feel less well off and less good about the country. So it's a whole shebang, and that's why I am feeling more confident about Michigan. Like I said, the polls will tell you one thing or another, and they'll have us up, down, up, down. But what I'm seeing on the ground is real positive engagement with these communities. So I'm really happy about it. I'm very happy about it. President Trump's coming to Macomb County, which is going to be an easy ride for those people down in Hamtramck to get up to. And he's coming on Friday, and that's going to be a big affair. Yes. That's in Warren, where a lot of our manufacturing still remains. Well, what's left of our manufacturing still remains in that area. A lot of different contractors and things like that. A lot of automotive. We're having an event, Log Cabin Republicans, at an old stamping plant that is no longer a stamping plant. It's very symbolic of sort of how the left policies have led to a fleeing of our manufacturing base and made Michigan especially especially hard hit from that.
I just want to correct myself. The Chaldeans are Catholics. They are Catholics. So, but a
We're
fascinating
Christians.
community.
We all,
Yeah, that's true.
pray to the same God. And actually, last night we had a prayer with Pastor Lorenzo, and we had actually and I'm going to
I
butcher this
love
one, but
Pastor Lorenzo. I love that guy.
yeah.
He did such a
I've
great
been seeing
job at
him a
the
lot.
RNC.
Oh yeah, but
I
so
have
he led
noticed
off
that.
our event.
Oh, it
Go
must have
ahead.
been like fire and brim.
Oh well, no. Last night he led off our event, and then we had an Indian, a Hindu prayer, and honestly, people were in tears the whole time. Or well, not the whole time, but during those
Oh,
two lead-off prayers, we had an amazing Lorenzo prayer, which obviously that blows the socks off people. But then we had in Sanskrit this Vedic prayer, and it really brought everyone together, and it showed like the Republican Party is a big tent. We have a broad coalition. President Trump has the broadest Republican coalition in in all history, actually, when you think about it. And that's what's
I
being
do
built. That's what
thank
I'm
him
seeing
for
on the
that.
ground in Michigan.
That's always in my heart and in my mind. That's what I always envisioned for the Republican Party. And it's funny, even though I thought it, that wasn't our reputation. And now it is the reputation of unity. You can even disagree with some aspects of the Republican platform. But I said this earlier, you have to look at the totality. There may be one or two things here or there that you do disagree with, but you need to look at the part for the people. It's for the
And I don't know
Constitution.
who who will agree with another person 100% of the time. That's part of
Never.
America, right? Like we are individuals, right? And so you do have to find a home where you have the big values, where those big values are, and those are like our American values. You need to find where those most align with you, and people are finding that home in our party. And so it's been more than a success on the ground here. I'm hoping that it's happening in other states. I'm focused on Michigan, right? So I kind of call into the other swing states quite a bit, but I'm not on the ground in those swing states, and they have different communities over there. But Michigan we have a diverse population, and it's such a blessing. We've got some of the best food ever. Like when I go to take these meetings in Dearborn and Hamtramck and things like that, it's amazing. And then the
That's
Indian
right.
food too. That's a whole new thing too. So that's it's been a blessing.
Well, I appreciate you joining me today, and thank you for bringing us information about Michigan and giving us hope. We can do this together. We got to get out and vote. We got to bring the young people along with us, and they don't have to tell anybody else. If they're getting pressure that because they're 18 years old, they have to vote Democrat, bull crap, who says that? But our elections
That's
are
an old
supposed to be
story.
secret. Yep. And our elections are supposed to be secret, so they don't have to tell anybody who they're voting for. It's their private business. But we need
But here's
to
the
save
thing.
our country.
Here's the thing. They are telling people. That's where we've also been having a lot of successes with the young people. You should see some of these events that we're holding on college campuses and the turnout that we're getting. Especially among young men. In the fraternities. Oh my gosh, when you stop by a fraternity house with MAGA hats and signs, they are loving it. And they come out in full
Well,
force.
Stephen, I got to
And
wrap up. And you got to do me a favor and get me some footage of that. I think that would go a long way, and we got to spread the joy. But thank you, and
amen.
thank
Hey,
you for
thank
your
you
hard
so
work.
much for having me. Thanks for having me. Oh my gosh, always a pleasure.
There you go. So thank you for joining me today on the Dr. Maria Show. I am on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. A number of ways you can get this show. You can, if you have Roku, you can download the Frank Speech channel and look for the Dr. Maria Show. You can do the app, download the Frank Speech app and look for the Dr. Maria Show. And also, there's another way. Oh, Rumble. Rumble doesn't censor. Rumble, Frank's Speech channel, Frank Speech TV, the Dr. Maria Show. Thank you. And in the near future, we will have Miranda Devine on. Have a wonderful couple days till I see you on Thursday.